Hi, I'm Hillary Howard, host of It's Academic, which is sponsored by MITRE, of course. And with me today is Wen Masters. She is VP of Cyber Technologies here at MITRE. Wen, it is so nice to see you.
Likewise, it's so nice to see you.
You have had a rather storied career in STEM. It's really impressive, and it makes me curious about your sense of wonder going back to the time you were a kid. What was it that inspired you to understand the world around you in a different way?
Wow. Thinking back, when I was about 7 years old, I knew I wanted to be a mathematician. I think the wonder there was really because mathematics is the language for all science. And mathematics is the one that can be used to describe relationships. So for people to understand what's underlying various things. And of course, I carry that passion all the way through my college and got my PhD in mathematics. Doing very abstract theoretical mathematics in a field called mathematical physics. All along the way I grew up, I was always interested in how things work and particularly on scientific topics. But at that time, many of my friends, and including family members, challenged me about, hey, how about thinking about applications of mathematics?
And they didn't understand it.
They didn't understand it at all. And they were like, hey, we read your paper, but what does it really mean? What is it saying, right? Anyways, and so I thought, since I was always very interested in the universe, how the universe comes, and what's out there. And so I wanted to start thinking about applying mathematics to scientific exploration in space. So that's when I went to JPL. And then I got involved in various NASA's deep space exploration missions. And that was totally fun. I learned a lot. It opened up my eyes.
How did that change your life?
In more ways, I think, than I realized at the time. And part of that is, I didn't really know that world that well before, even though I was always interested in doing scientific work. And all of a sudden, I get to see how my beloved subject, mathematics, can really help paving some of the foundations to do very rigorous scientific kind of investigation. And of course, it opened up my world to other science fields and to other engineering applications. And thinking about, science is just part of it. There's also a lot of technology development, a lot of technology that can be applied to our daily life.
Which takes us to MITRE, where you're dealing with cybersecurity, one of the key issues of our time for sure. What kind of work are you doing?
It's actually very broad-cutting work. Everything is intimately connected with the usage of data, creation of data, and computation using those data and communications, passing all the data across in terms of understanding some of the insights and also making decisions. And of course, as one thing I usually say, technologies are always neutral, meaning good guys will apply technologies for good things, while the bad guys will also leverage technologies to do bad things. So, since so many of our systems depend on data, communication, and computation, so cybersecurity is a very essential domain.
How difficult is it to stay ahead of the bad guys, Wen?
In cyber arena, it's very difficult. And because this is a time, it's a very fast-paced kind of a competition. And just as you take time to develop new technologies, right? And first of all, we have to understand what the new threats are, needs are. how new technology will actually impact the usage, both in terms of benefits to the society as well as in terms of posing new vulnerabilities.
So, in a way, we're talking about the future, always staying ahead of the people who are threats. So, keeping with the future, let's talk about our young people and young people who are interested in a STEM career. How important do you think they are?
They're hugely important. The way we live has improved so much. And think back in terms of what are the underlying forces. A lot of that is really due to technology advances. And so more people well-versed in STEM fields, and that will help them to see the underlying relationships about things and to reason about things, to come up with new ways, better ways to engineer systems. Those will all help us.
Now, MITRE has a really strong internship program for people who are interested in STEM.
Yep.
Clearly, I host a show that includes brilliant students who will move into STEM careers. What would you like them to know?
So last summer, we hosted about 600 interns.
Wow.
Yeah, and about 90 of them are high school students. And we're extremely glad and pleased to see so many people so early in their career coming to places like MITRE and other big tech companies or government labs to do internship, to learn about technologies, to learn about how they can make a difference in technology fields.
And how do you see the changes in these interns from start to finish?
I will cite one particular internship program we have here. It's called Cyber Futures Program. And that program is targeted for HBCU and historically Black colleges and minority serving institutions. And we bring those people when they are in like freshmen, sophomore, junior years. And many of them come here to that internship program because they want some hands-on experiences. And those are typically people that are really driven for public services. And I'm very happy to say that after 10 weeks of intense work involving hands-on work, putting those students on our actual projects that make a difference, many of them, so 95% or more of them, after graduation, all say they want to become cyber professionals.
So these students who are not just interested in STEM, but interested in the greater good, the public good, they have an enormous role in our future.
Absolutely. And we also have hired some of those graduates from past internship. And we also try to cultivate them. And there's another program I want to mention at MITRE. It's called the Cyber New Professional Program, or CNP. And so we actually put a specific curriculum, if you will. It's a 2-year kind of a program. And CNPers work together as a cohort. And they have assigned mentors. And they are given a broad spectrum of different projects. So then they can develop their technical and professional skills, and also very diverse programs and skills, and also building up professional networks, which is also very important. Working side by side with world-class cyber experts here at MITRE.
For many years, we heard there weren't enough women in STEM, and there was a real effort to make that happen. How has that changed?
I remember the time when I was a graduate student in college. I would attend a professional society's conference in mathematics. Quite often, I find myself to be the only woman in the room.
Wow.
It's a room full of hundreds of participants, giving a paper, talking about things. But I'm happy to see that has changed. And I see more and more women going into STEM fields. And a lot of that is because the public, support. This needs to continue to grow. We are on the right trajectory, but we need to continue to push.
So it is still challenging for women and minorities in STEM.
Yes.
How does MITRE deal with that?
We have various programs to encourage minorities and to encourage women. We define our diversity and inclusiveness very broadly, and we create those opportunities for them. We are also a affiliate of this global organization called WISIS, Women in Cybersecurity. So we're a corporate affiliate, and we're out there championing for women in cybersecurity, and of course working with them together. So a lot of this is involvement and hands-on working and seeing the impact and coming back to that wonder about, wow, how the world works and how I can make a difference.
If you could go back in time and give your teenage self advice on your career and moving forward, and what to look for and how to navigate the world and your profession, what would that advice be?
First of all, follow your heart. So I followed my heart because I always wanted to be a mathematician. And no matter what people say to me, believe me, there were plenty. Some people would say, oh, mathematics and women doing mathematics? You gotta be crazy. And I said, that's what I want to do. The other piece would be open your mind and also develop your analytical skills, capabilities. It's very important because to have innovation, we have to constantly question conventional wisdom. So being analytical, having that kind of capability to analyze how things are done today and what that gap might be, and why can we do it differently? And how would, if we do it differently, having a positive or negative impact? And the third piece is looking for opportunities to have firsthand experiences. I didn't have that when I was growing up as a teenager. And I'm so glad to see so many organizations today offering internship, offering summer programs to bring students on board to have that hands-on experiences.
Challenging conventional wisdom is a difficult thing because you have to be bold. And a lot of people don't want to hear that you're not on the same road that they're on. So what advice do you have for people to have the courage to do that, to stand up and say, but I think we should look here?
Don't give in to the peer pressure, particularly for teenagers, if I look back at my teenage years. Right? And that's hard to do. But you just have to believe in yourself, follow your heart, and continue to have that kind of thirst for new knowledge.
Beautiful. It's been so wonderful speaking with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So wonderful to be here. I'm very pleased.
I'm Hillary Howard, and I have been with Wen Masters. Thanks for joining us.